Hello, and welcome to another episode of Nostalgia Pile. My name is Jordan, and joined by me are also...
Hi, I'm Klidge, Klidge Radio. You can find me on all platforms at Klidge except for Twitter where it's Sventarian, or Klidge Radio.
What a fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just plugging his
Hi,
shit.
I'm Cameron. You can find me most places at Anarchic Killjoy. You can figure out how to spell it.
Yes.
So my Twitter might be Bright Eyed Anarchist. I don't know.
Something
I'm
like
not
that.
checking.
Yeah, if you guys use still Twitter still.
You'll figure it out.
I'm sorry, X.
It is.
I don't want
by the way.
a dead name. X. You know?
I do.
At least in this instance, yeah. Because fuck Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so since we last spoke, we were tasked with watching 2 animes in an effort to get back on the whole anime train and watching what other people are watching, even if it might be something we've all never seen before, or even current season shit. We're just watching what we want to watch based on each other's recommendations. And since then, we've also come up with a name for this podcast since our session 0, basically. If you caught it at the beginning, it was called Nostalgia Pile because we're sitting on a pile of nostalgia and we need to go back in the past or do some shit. I don't know.
If you watched episode 1, you would have already known that because it would have been named it on Spotify or YouTube.
Yeah.
With that title, Nostalgia
Yes.
Pile episode 1.
That's true. By now, you would know.
But if you're just tuning in, welcome.
Yeah, if you neglected to see all that shit at the beginning, then now you know that.
If you skipped episode 1, then we don't blame you either.
Yeah.
You know
And
what?
that's
You're real
totally
for
fine.
that.
Yeah.
But go watch it.
Yeah, I've got a new mic now, so I'll probably sound a little different. But I'm also sick at the same time, so that kind of fucking sucks. But, you know.
You're going to give it to us through the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, get that virtual sickness.
Yeah. Let's go into what we were tasked with watching. I believe we were tasked with watching Promare, a Trigger original anime movie, as well as Wonder Egg Priority, which I have thoughts, but for the sake of the flow of conversation, let's just go ahead and start off with Promare.
You want to start with
I want to
Promare?
start with, well, since they are just drastically
I mean,
different
I'm okay.
tones. They're drastically different tones. I'm sitting here thinking,
It's going to be...
do we want to start off with, like, the sad shit first?
I mean,
That's
yeah,
up to y'all.
it's hard to say. It's going to be Whiplash
Yeah.
regardless. These are 2 drastically different
Which I think is
things.
fine. I just thought it was funny that we were going to do, like, 2 drastic... I don't know. By the time I finished Wonder Egg, I was like, this episode here is going to be so fucking jarring because you're going to be like, woo, yeah, let's go, to,
Yeah.
you know, like, oh my God, I don't know if I
All
can
right,
go on.
You know what? Maybe we should start with Promare, just because I want to say that we as a group probably have less to say about it.
Oh, yeah, there's way
Not
less
in a
to
bad
talk
way.
about. Yeah, there's way less things to say. So, yeah, that's kind of what my
Yeah.
reasoning was.
Good
It's like,
call.
yeah, let's go
Okay, yeah,
big, because it's going to take us, like, maybe 5 or 10 minutes to get past that, and then the rest of the time we can kind of just, like, talk about the roller coaster that is Wonder Egg.
And there's a
Oh, yeah,
lot
okay.
to talk about with that
Yeah.
one.
There's a lot to unpack with the Wonder.
Okay.
I went down the rabbit hole with Wonder
Yeah.
Egg, like after watching it, and I found out a bunch of shit.
Okay, well, you'll have to enlighten me, because I finished it, and I was just like, what in the fuck? That was my biggest
Which is
takeaway.
totally valid.
Yeah, which is my biggest takeaway. But I did remember you saying something about basically development hell. So
Yeah.
so we can talk about
Yes.
that later. But first, let's start with Promare. So I recommended this one. I had seen it already, but I want to hear what Klidge watched it, I think, first before camp. So I want to hear what Klidge
Yes.
has to say
I
about it.
watched it last night.
Yeah. Yeah, I did a watch along on my stream with my community for Promare. Never seen it. I'm a big Studio Trigger fan. I mean, I'm a fake Studio Trigger fan, as in I've seen Kill la Kill, I've seen fucking Gurren Lagann, I never watched what's the mech one with the
Darling in
anime
the
girl with
Franxx?
the pink hair. That's the one. Never watched that. Never watched the one with the American guy who just says fuck all the time. It's like I'm the stereotypical fake Trigger fan. I just like their style. So, but I like them. I like how they do things. This shit was fucking heat.
Yeah, man. Gas all the way through. Gas.
It was.
Yeah. No.
It was just a good time all around. It's one of the least subtle movies I've seen in my entire life, but honestly, I think that helps it.
Yeah.
It just lets the show just like it. I don't know. How do I want to put this? This entire movie is just a political message made animated, and you're there for the animation and the music, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, they're very like Imaishi's style is just so bombastic and just in your face and like so much scale, and you're just like, what the like what?
Seeing this in theaters would have been insane.
Oh, I
Just
saw it
with
in
all the
theaters,
colors
man.
and everything.
Bro, when I saw this in theaters, I was like, again, this was like one of those. I think I talked about this last time. It was like this is one of those animes that like I watched coming out of like my depression, and this shit is just like, you could not help but be smiling on the edge of your seat, like, what the hell is going on?
Just listen to fucking Inferno on repeat, and you will never be sad again.
I mean, it's
not true, but you know,
for me, the soundtrack goes. Inferno's definitely up there.
Ones.
There's Nexus, and then there's Gallant Ones, baby. Gallant Ones. Oh
Gallant
yeah,
Ones
Gallant
does
Ones
go
goes
really hard.
crazy. And shout out
Inferno is
Hiroyuki.
my favorite.
Sawano went
Apart
crazy
from Kisekai.
I took notes.
Oh.
While watching it, and I'm going to give you the rundown.
I see one that says
the entire movie on my tiny little like 13-line notebook.
I see one that says
you
government
listening
bad.
can't see, but I'm showing it on camera right now. All right, here are my notes. Amazing visuals. I love the science gaki. Her name is Lucina. Lucina.
Yes.
ACAB. Genocide / racism. Government bad? ? Kakusei added to the workout list. Zordon ? Government bad, this time in all caps? ? Parallel universe. Deus Ex Machina. GIF of capping an old man. Genocide beam. Government bad a third time, this time government abbreviated in 3 ? And then Gallant Ones. That's the whole movie. That's the entire movie.
I mean, you're pretty close. You're pretty on. I mean, it's pretty close.
I adored that movie. It was phenomenal. It was just a joy to watch. The voice. Okay, I watched it dubbed.
Yeah. No,
which is something I normally don't do. They fucking killed it. It was awesome.
Yeah, the dub is crazy.
That made me want to listen to other dubs.
Dubs nowadays aren't really even like that hit or miss. I mean, I would say most of them now that, especially like anime going mainstream, these voice actors they're kind of hitting the nose. They definitely deliver differently, but sometimes culturally you're like, oh, I felt that. I know that sometimes the Japanese like executions of a line definitely can give you more insight into what the actual feeling is supposed to be there, but I feel like for me it's just easier for me to listen to dubs nowadays. Not to say I don't watch subs, but if there's something that I'm watching like weekly with a good ass dub, I'm probably just gonna pick the dub at this point, unless I want to be caught up and not have, because a lot of stuff isn't simulcasted like at the same time, you know. Yeah, no, Promare's crazy. I saw you said Deus Ex Machina. When I was in the theater, when he yelled Deus Ex Machina, everyone clapped and cheered. Like they were like, yeah, Deus Ex Machina. I was like, this is insane. Like I was just,
it's just
insane.
like that. So yeah, that you just reminded me of something I didn't put down on my notes for that is so for the first half of that movie of Promare, I wasn't exactly sold on it because I don't know what I was expecting, right? Like I figured it was going to be fun. It's Trigger. They prefer fun over story, which honestly I respect. And so, you know, it was a good time. I was enjoying it, but I was still kind of like not really into it. The moment the old man showed up and was just like this is the weapon. It's Deus Ex Machina. We don't really have a way to resolve this, so I'm just going to show up, give you the plot device. All right, deuce out.
Yeah.
Just straight up bailed. Just gave him the
Yeah,
solution and
bro.
bailed. The moment that happened, I was like, oh, it's this kind of movie.
You know, he's real for that.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, they ain't taking this shit seriously at all.
Yeah,
Got
they
it.
really didn't. Yeah, you're right. They really don't like give you that plot devices. So like, boom, bam, this happened to me, and then I did this,
Yeah.
and then I had a contingency plan. Now you guys are the only ones. I don't know why, but you guys showed up here, so you must be the ones. Go do it.
He does straight up say, what would you have done if we didn't show up? I don't know, probably fucking died,
Yeah,
dude.
which I think is it's so. I mean, just come on, man. Like, it doesn't get better and more on the nose than that. Like, come on. They knew what they were making, and they made it.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, and
the
that's
moment that happened,
good.
yeah, the moment that happened, I was just like, they don't give a fuck at all. They're just making something cool.
Yeah,
Got it.
Which is Trigger at their best.
Yeah.
Just fucking making something that's just visually, just so, like, it's just a treat. It's just so much fun and rewarding just to watch. There could be no plot, and I would still like enjoy it. To be completely fair.
Yeah. It did help that, like, I love the style for this one. They basically cell shaded everything.
The cell shading.
It's like cell shaded, and then I think most of the environments where the mechs were in like fully 3D rendered cell shaded environments as well. So you're just like, geez, dude, like the style is just so clean. It really works with their basically the burnished colors or whatever. Like Leo's like whole character design is actually a masterpiece to look at. You're like, oh, this man. And you know, Gallo's got the little Kamina thing going on, but he still has his own like style. But
Yeah,
Cam, I want to hear more about what you think.
I love the character designs. I love when the camera kind of zooms out and they get really like boxy.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of sharp edges.
Yes.
It's so much fun. And like I said, the colors are fucking phenomenal. The music. I messaged you like
Oh my
literally
God.
like 2 minutes in, and I was like, holy shit. The fucking soundtrack.
Yeah.
Because there's the song by fucking Superfly that's been on my playlist for like 4 fucking years at this point.
Yeah, man.
It's 5 minutes into the movie, and it's like, I'm sold.
This
could be the worst movie from here on out, and I'd still be happy.
I think one of my favorite scenes, or really when I knew it was going to be a good movie, is when they introduced the burnish, right? And Leo, and you don't know it's Leo in there, but it's Leo's like mech or whatever, and that fucking throne just comes down and he sits on it and he cocks his fucking head, and you're just like, oh, that is. Like, when you see that, all I could think of is, oh, this dude he's just a new Spiral King. Because he just hits it. He's like, yeah, I'm going to hit this right here. And you're like, okay, this is a Trigger movie. And then, of course, Kakuse is playing, and you're just like, okay, what are you doing here? And then my other favorite scene is also with Leo, when everyone likes to do like the weird, you've seen those memes where it's like when the anime character's about to go crazy and it's like zoomed in on the eyes are weird and
The
shit.
eyes are all fucked up.
But Leo just literally, his eyes get so angry, he turns into a fucking like raging fire dragon thing. And he's just like, and Kakuse is playing, and you're like,
Bakura from Yu-Gi-Oh.
yeah, you just like,
he almost ends up looking like a Muppet.
yeah, it's actually insane. And then, but it's so good that you're just like, oh, this guy's angry. Like he's really fucking mad.
He's actually mad. Oh fuck.
Like he's not going crazy. He's just fucking mad.
And he's right for it.
Yeah, he was right for it. I mean, yeah, just seriously, to me, Heat all the way through will always be
absolutely.
one of my favorites. Also,
The man-to-man kiss scene.
oh, that was
Yeah, we fans
I
eating
had someone
good.
in my when I was streaming that, someone in my chat said that this was the only scene from this movie that they knew, because I guess that scene circulated on Twitter.
Yeah,
because it was an anime, like a mainstream-ish anime thing that had a real male-to-male kiss scene in it. And I guess that people are just like,
hey man, I get it. I mean, it was a pretty good scene. It was a good scene though.
It was perfect because it was a callback. Yeah. It was great. That whole movie is.
It's weird because like, while we can like be like Trigger doesn't do plots, but every time they do one, you're like, no, that makes sense. Like even if it doesn't make sense, you're like, no, wait, okay, yeah, because there's so much lost context. I feel like in their work that you're just like, yeah, I mean, like so much lost context sometimes.
They really do just kind of drop you into the universe and be like, figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
We know the rules. It's your job to figure it out.
Yeah.
Like every time I think of
it's like, why are these clothes talking?
Like
to
every
me?
time I think of, like Kill la Kill especially, like Kill la Kill and Gurren, they like really have to like their world building is like so insane because they're like, I mean, it's a really good it's a really good way to build a world, which is like throw them straight into it and let them learn along the way if they care to, but. Don't forget what you're good at, which is, building your scenes, building your characters, and then the plot will almost write itself. I mean, Gurren, I think, they had an idea for Gurren with that opening scene, and they didn't end it that way. Apparently, they had, wrote the ending before they figured out how they were going to get there, and then it still ended up being pretty damn good. And so I feel like Promare is a very prime example of throw them in there, introduce them to a bunch of shit, and let them figure it out. And they still did a decent job wrapping it up. I was like, oh, okay, parallel universe, fine. Yeah.
I mean, they built it up really, really fast in the first 5 minutes of the movie, which is where it's just like, all right, we don't know why, but a bunch of people started catching on fire because they were angry. And then now because people are able to do that, people don't like that, so now they're prejudiced against. Boom, that's it. That's the plot.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's insanely simple,
and then
but it works.
And then insane callback at the end. I won't spoil it for anybody who needs to go watch it, but insane callback at the end to all of that setup just for the finale to be what it was and those reveals. You're just like, oh wow, that is. It's stupid that it worked, but it fucking did.
Yeah. No, it's great. That's a masterclass of Trigger.
Yeah. So
it is
good.
Trigger in its purest form.
Yeah.
In the best way.
I hope they make more shit because obviously Dungeon Meshi's going on right now, which is good. That's good.
God,
it's really good.
She's so good.
We can talk about that
Trigger?
one. Yeah, Trigger's animating that one. So this is one of their second adaptations, I think. And this one's really good. This is a good adaptation. But I hope I know that after the success of Promare, they did say they want to do more original stuff. Actually, this is their third adaptation, I guess, if you count Cyberpunk as an adaptation.
Oh, yeah, they did that too.
Yeah, so
still haven't seen that.
Oh, dude.
Same.
Oh, dude. Okay. Well, I'll add it to the list later, but you guys should watch it or watch it on your own time. I will say that I know they want to do more original stuff, and whether it's a movie or an anime, I know that's their big I guess company
big
culture
next
thing.
Move.
Yeah, I mean this is their company culture thing. They're like, let's make cool stuff, and I'm like, that's dope, bro. Yeah,
and they should keep doing it.
Yeah,
they should. It works, and people like it.
Yep.
I mean, with Trigger in particular, I remember looking up, because I'm curious about these things, how well did this movie do in the box office? Because I looked
Japan,
up.
well, I think.
Yeah, it did pretty well.
It was,
there.
I think it was number 9 for 3. It was pretty high up of movies released for that year.
Yeah,
but I think I then was just like, okay, well, what do the people think? On my anime list, it was primarily positive, except the most liked review was just this hyper nerd who hyper analyzed the movie for just the plot.
And that's the most liked one?
I'm just going to say this right now. If you're watching anything by Studio Trigger and you only care about the plot, you're a fucking moron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
you
fair.
throw out everything else that they do. Everything else that they do just to be like, actually, the racism is too blatant and not subtle enough. It's like, you go fuck yourself, man.
As if racism isn't blatant.
You're missing the point of the entire movie.
As if it's not blatant already. That's kind of
that's
funny.
what I told Klidge yesterday, where I was like, obviously media literacy nowadays is like an all-time low for the general populace. Everything has to be spelled out for a lot of people, which it sucks, but there's a reason why a lot of media does that. But then you get the same people who are like, well, it's just not subtle enough, especially when it comes to things about racism and sexual assault and stuff like that. And it's like, it doesn't have to be subtle. It's supposed to make you uncomfortable. It's supposed to make you aware of the issue. It's not going to be subtle to save your little fucking feelings.
The only time I'll give anybody wanting to analyze a plot like that, like at least a trigger plot, I will give them Gurren, because I think Gurren has a lot of depth to it. That
Gurren's different.
I think Gurren is probably their most different thing they've ever made. Well, again, that was still when they were under Gainax or whatever, but still, I think it still applies here. It's like Gurren has like a very specific story that they're trying to tell, and they do it like when they want to. They fucking can. But when they don't have to, it's still fucking good.
Again, they prioritize fun over everything else. That's what every single thing that I've seen from them, like even with Cyberpunk, Cyberpunk's story was, from what I've heard, is really fucking good. Like, if you want to analyze that plot, but that plot isn't the actual plot of Cyberpunk is also not very subtle with what it is. It's just very, very in your face, just like, don't fuck around with too much technology, and people are gonna try and fuck you over no matter where you are.
With that kind of IP, like they don't really have to dive into it. Like there's so much lore already. They're just like, let's have fun with these characters. What would they do, and how fucking insane can we show you us blasting a guy's head off?
Exactly.
Okay, well, Promare's good. We like Promare.
Any last thoughts?
Yes.
Any last thoughts?
Love Promare. Watch Promare.
Go watch Promare.
How would you guys rank
Promare.
it?
Rank it?
9 out of 10.
Shit, it's one of my favorite things I've ever seen.
Solid ass 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I would give it that.
8.5, 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm right there with you guys.
Yeah, so part of the reason I ask is because, speaking of my anime list, I set up an account. So if you, the listener, ever want to go see how we have ranked any of these episodes, but you don't want to listen to them for some reason, all of that will be there. You can go check out all of our opinions at the Nostalgia Pile My Anime List.
Excellent.
So we're going to be giving this one I'll round up, 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. Not
Solid.
enough robots.
Great movie.
Definitely
9
good.
out of 10, too much water.
Yeah. Too much water will always be goated.
Too much water. He started one fire, so they lose 1 star.
Yeah, true. Okay, so moving on, Cam, I'm gonna let you take the reins on this one and talk about.
It wasn't my pick, huh?
No, Wonder Egg Priority. Since you watched it before and you the one who recommended it, I
was not.
Yeah, you did. You definitely.
I
you did.
It.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Klidge,
I recommended it. Yeah,
Klidge recommended it.
I'll take the. Yeah, I'll take the.
I was like, that wasn't me.
Yeah.
No, Cam recommended it to. Yeah, Cam recommended it to me years ago. Well, years ago. It came out in 2021, a couple years ago, and I just never got around to watching it. So I found this as a good excuse to go out and do it. But Cam had not seen the 13th episode when he recommended it to me.
What?
He didn't know because it wasn't out yet. It released like 4 weeks after the actual season ended.
It was longer than that.
Yeah.
It was way longer than that. It was like at least half a year.
Oh my god.
Like yeah. I'll go into what that was all about after we're like done with like actually talking about the stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd also like to point out that we have a very, very unique situation. We have a leg up above all other podcasts right now with this, talking about this particular anime. And that is that I'm an actual teacher at a Japanese middle school.
Yeah, that is
Oh,
fucking.
yeah.
which is what
Yeah,
which
that's
is what the setting of this is, and I see
I
the
didn't even think about
bullying. I see the bullying, and I see all of that stuff, and how we actually deal with that. So, unlike all other podcasts, you got a man in the front lines for this shit to like talk
Yeah.
about this shit, and like the discussions of how like talking of suicide and stuff like that is in Japan. So my thoughts on Wonder Egg as a whole are that it's a fucking masterpiece. I genuinely think that in general it is a masterpiece of an anime. I've not seen one tackle the issue of teenage suicide in a way like this before. Just it's a lot. It's a topic that comes up in anime a decent amount because it is it's a thing that's in the culture. More so than I would say in like America. I mean, America has suicide based shit too, like 13 Reasons Why and all that. But I don't know. The way how they deal with the grief in it is different. I think that the plot is amazingly well done, despite the fact that it's kind of funky and cluttered all over the place. I had a lot of like whiplash moments in that. Like there's a part in I think it's episode 7 or 9 or something where I thought for a moment that maybe I was dead already. Like that she had been killed. Because the anime starts with her in the middle of the road looking at a bug.
And I thought like
yeah. I thought
the
you were like
letter
talking
I.
about yourself. I was like, holy shit, Klidge. You just had like an
she-
awakening.
No.
we can
Like,
refer
she-
to her as like Oto.
Oto, yeah.
Oto? Okay, Oto. Yeah, that Oto was in the middle of the road, like looking at a bug that was dead, and then a car comes and just like stops. And the way how this plot was like kind of unveiling, I got like the red herring effect of, did she actually get hit by that car? And she's gonna realize that she is like an egg girl and this is her afterlife or some shit. That didn't happen. But like I had a moment where I was just like, huh.
That would have been
I also
wild.
took that would have been wild. I also took
More
notes.
notes.
On this, by the way.
Yeah, and I hear you. I definitely thought
Yeah.
I was gonna get the wool pulled over my eyes a few times, but then it never came, and then I was still even because it never came. I was like still looking out for it, and then it kind of just doesn't, and you're just like, whoa, what? Like, what's going on? Especially
Yeah.
all the way up to the end, and you're just like, what the like, God, let's just keep going, Klidge, and then I'll say what I think.
Sure. So things that are in that I found really interesting are there's a lot of stuff that just never gets fully explained. Like how are they actually getting these girls into these eggs?
Yeah.
Like how does this work? Like we see the machinery, we can assume science bullshit, but like there's never really a full explanation given except for the fact that they're parallel world girls. Which is a weird, like, additional thing. I think that the relationship between Oto and Neiru is kind of bizarre. Like, she treats Neiru like she's, like, the number one friend, when really Rika, it feels like she's the number one friend.
Yeah, I can agree with
And,
that.
yeah, but so they put so much of this importance on Neiru, but they don't, I don't know. I feel like they don't really do much with her. I don't know. It's so...
They saved so much of her plot for episode 13, and then nothing really comes of it.
Nothing comes of it, yeah. So, okay, do we want to do it like this? Do we want to talk about Wonder Egg, all of it up until 13, and then talk about 13 separately?
Yeah, that's fine.
So the big split in Egg is 1 through 7, and then 9 through 13. Because 8's a recap episode.
Yeah.
Half of 13's a recap episode.
Yeah.
The sci-fi side of Egg does not come in till 9.
Yeah, they don't explain everything until 9.
Yeah, because 9 is when you start throwing in all of, like, you know, the parallel universe stuff.
Yeah.
Frill, which is a huge point of contention within a lot of people who like this series.
I have opinions
All
on
of that
Thrill.
stuff starts at 9.
I have
1
so
through
many
7
opinions.
is pretty straightforward. I mean, air quotes, straightforward as far as egg can go.
I mean, you know what you're getting in those episodes. So you see, you've got a girl who's been bullied, who you believe lost her best friend to suicide. But you see that, and you're like, okay, I kind of know how this is gonna go, and you kind of see the pattern in the in the beginning of like each episode is like new topic that this girl is dealing with, and who you know died because of this scenario. And you're like, oh, okay, I know what I'm getting. It still doesn't make any fucking sense, like why these girls are coming out of eggs while I'm here. But at the very least, I can appreciate the way they're delivering each episode.
Yeah,
right?
and the tact that they handle these topics with, I think, is really important, because most shows nowadays want to skirt around all of these traumas and these topics, and they're just like I said with the subtlety thing. Most of them are like, oh well, we can't talk about this, we can't show this, you can just presume that it happened.
Which is a very Japanese thing to do.
Yeah, and this show very much is like, no, fuck you, we're going to talk about this. Because it's important, because it's affecting our youth. Which is amazing.
I have never seen an anime address a topic like rape as like tactfully as they do. Because I've talked about this with Cam a lot of times. I feel like the way how, like, sorry, massive trigger warning for people, but I feel like how a lot of anime like utilize rape or talk about rape, it's always just as the plot device of like tragic dumping for a character. You do this to make a character feel significantly like worse, and like you're supposed to, it feels almost manufactured feel bad for this character for a lot of for like a lot of anime. So
and
like so a lot of them
does that a lot too.
They do. It's not just but yeah, it's just how media handles that as a topic. It's just like, oh, all these terrible things happened. Also, she was raped. It's just like, great, great for that. We really needed that plot point. We already felt bad. Now you just make us feel even worse. Like what they do, and this maybe the episode that I think stuck with me the most is the one where it deals with Momoe and the trans guy. Who is just like that. The way how they handle that is so that I'm gonna argue that's the best episode in the entire series. Because the way how that is handled is so well done, where it's just like there's no immediate discrimination with it. It's just a straight up, this is how I feel, this is who I am. And then Momoe is just like, you know what, I completely understand, because I'm treated differently for my looks, even if I'm not transgender. So I have this, I can feel this empathy with you. And her trauma, this girl's trauma had happened because of her belief that, or sorry, I'm being bad, because of his belief that that they were a boy. And so the teacher took advantage of him. They show a pretty graphic like push down and rape scene. I mean, there's nothing explicitly shown, but like the teacher pushes down the guy, beats the shit out of him, and then gets him pregnant, that's essentially like social, like mental death for a transgender person like that, I'd imagine, where it's just like a complete denouncing of how you feel. And then the whole like coming to terms with it at the end, it's just like, it's so well done.
I would argue that this, now Cam said I was going to be depressed. And at points, I would say I was like sad, but then I also was like, every time Oto comes to terms with the shit that she sees other people dealing with and being like, I'm so weak, I'm so weak, I'm so weak. She sees all these girls who also felt as though they were too weak as well. She's like, I'm going to be strong for them. And in a way, it came across as this like, there is never anything too difficult that you can't overcome. And I was like, okay, I'm seeing that theme constantly, like almost every episode. And I'm like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So while I was taking on an emotional roller coaster most episodes, and I would say that, yeah, it did made me feel sad. I also said it made me think a lot about, you know, how I choose to view my own traumas, other people's traumas, and what drives people to these like moments where they feel so weak that they don't think they can go on. And I was sitting there like, you know, that says a lot about outside of just Japanese middle schools. I'm talking about like most of the, at least in America, like what is driving people so far down these roads where they feel like they can't, I don't know, go on. It just made me think a lot. And I watched a couple of these with Natalie too, and I was just like when I had watched them, I was like, oh, you got to watch a couple of, like, she didn't finish the series or anything because I was like, I have to finish it now. But yeah, there were moments where I was just like, this reminded me of like you, not necessarily anything specifically, just like the mindset of like Oto is that I'm just gonna do the absolute best I can, and her always screaming out, now I'm really freaking angry, is just like spitting in the face of like the despair that you could possibly feel. It's like either you succumb to the sadness or you get so pissed that you say, no, fuck this. I'm going to get over this shit because I'm stronger than that. And that's like putting taking that fire, adding fuel to it. That's that shit that I was like, oh, this is that good shit. Like Wonder Egg has the potential to be like, put me in a depressive episode, but it also has potential for me to go, yeah, you know what? Fuck all the shit that, you know, is trying to put me down or has put me down, or, you know, that's not who I am. Like, I'm never going to make that my identity. Like, that doesn't define me. Those things don't do that. And I just really appreciate it.
The common thread. Yeah, I was going to say the common thread between these two is the main characters and their indomitable human spirit.
Yeah, I mean, we want to talk about Trigger again.
The indomitable
that's
human
the common
spirit.
Thread.
Yeah.
Like it's the whole series is about how even if you alone don't have the power to change things, there are others who are willing to help you as well.
Yeah.
Like the episode with Rika when she's with the girl who does not care that she killed herself.
Yeah.
Because she believed that it was the right thing to do. Also, the voice actor for Kotomine Kirei voicing that cult leader, fucking impeccable.
My God, I didn't even notice that.
Oh yeah, I recognize that man everywhere. I love his voice.
That's good.
Yeah, it's just in how she's just like giving into despair because it's just like, okay, is this even like really worth it? Like, she doesn't want to be saved, but she's also making some pretty good points. Just like, I'm going through a lot of shit, and like this person killed themselves. I very clearly have issues myself. But maybe it's just better if I just give up. Yeah. And then just through somebody reaching out that hand to be like, hey, yeah, we can do this.
That always I fucking love like even if they were doing this for, you know, themselves or selfish reasons or whatever. I mean, like, helping someone is never I felt like they were like, helping someone might help you. And that's okay, because at the very least you're doing something different, and you also are reaching out to someone who may be in desperate need. And I was like, I don't like Nehru asking her, why do you do this? And I'm like, and I knew Oto was gonna not really have a true answer for it, and she's kind of like, I mean, just to save my friend. And she's like, what, are you doing it for yourself? And I'm like, well, what does it fucking matter? Like, she's helping all of these, you know, other girls get past their traumas too. So I don't know. I've just fucking appreciated every, like, pretty much every bit of it.
Yeah. I mean, even as far as like where you'll get a lot of people who will, like, if you ask if they recommend it, they'll usually say, watch the first 7 episodes. Don't even think about the rest. Just completely pretend they don't exist. And I don't like that mindset.
Yeah. No, that's a bad, because there's okay. I'm gonna just fucking lay down the law with that shit with those last episodes. I think that they were actually really good. The only one that I don't like is the 13th episode.
Yeah.
And that's not even because of like the production hell. All of the other ones are perfectly fine. Like I even like the addition of Frill as being like, okay, so now there is an actual plot point with like why there's like a surge in female suicides because there's like essentially a bug in the machine.
Yeah.
She's like getting in. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I do understand where a lot of people come from, because basically the way that the show explains it is that young women are not able to regulate their emotions, which is why they kill themselves more than men. And I totally understand where people come from when they say they do not like that part. And
they make
that real quick.
Yeah, they make that comment. Okay, so actually I have something for you on that, because there was an interview with the director about that shit, or the director, one of the writers, somebody on the staff who had some power. My brain is bad. So they make the comment, and that's in the first 7 episodes. It's like episode 3 or 4, I think. It's just like, well, why are we only saving girls? It's like, well, it's because girls are emotional and men are logical, or some bullshit like that.
Yeah, they said some shit like that, and I was like, whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah, that one caught me off guard. Now, supposedly, it was said that Nehru, the logical member of the group, was supposed to be like, that's bullshit, but they cut that line.
What the fuck?
She was supposed to have a line for it, but they've removed it because of time constraints. Now, another member of staff said that that's not true, but so it's up in the air. But I know that there was an interview where somebody made the comment that was supposed to be in there.
Damn. Well, it is bullshit.
It is. It's not. It's just. It doesn't make sense. They can
I
just say
just decided
that
to disregard that. Yeah, I just was like,
it's the plot point that they mentioned that it never comes back up again. So. Yeah.
Well,
that feels like someone on the writing team just had an opinion, and a bad one at that.
Yeah. So 1 through 7 was like insanely good. I enjoyed watching Otto basically coming to our own through those episodes. I mean, what, by episode 5, we're like seeing the crew. Also, let me say this. Yeah. I love Rika. I thought Rika was like one of the best.
Yeah, she's the most fleshed out.
Yeah, I love how like she was herself and she didn't give any fucks. And I was like, that's good. She reminded me of my sister, actually. Just like does not give a fuck what anybody thinks, and I think that's dope. So 1 through 7, really good. Watching all that kind of play out, and then 9 through 12. 9 through 12.
That's based.
I was like basically showing the whole backstory and everything. So, getting away from like the themes of like overcoming and triumphing over, despair. Frill and that whole thing had me completely gripped. I was like, okay, are we gonna go straight into like the thing is that I think why 13 suffers so much is because 9 through 12 set you up for some insane like finale. And you're sitting there like, I mean, seriously, like, I can't begin to show you the disappointment I had with 13 because I was ready for, the overcome the impossible final episode type shit. And then you don't fucking get it. And you're like, okay, hold on. And I almost saw the potential for me to be okay with that until I saw like the last 5 minutes of 13. And I was like, okay, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? Like,
that's the problem with 13 is you get... So, do we want to like spoiler warning?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to put spoiler warnings at the beginning, and I'll say, you can say spoiler warnings now. Like,
okay, look, if people are watching this podcast,
hopefully you watched it by now.
Cut this and put this at the start. Yeah, if you're watching this podcast that's about talking about the shows that we watched in their entirety, and you're going to be upset that you got spoiled, are you stupid?
Well, if you don't want spoilers for the last 5 episodes of the show, cut forward like 10 minutes. You'll figure it out. The way that 13, so they build up the stuff with Frill and her minions, and what she did to what's his name, Uraka, his wife, and then his daughter as well. Shit's fucked.
Yeah. Insane.
Totally fucked. And it builds it up so well. And you get, I think it's episode 12 or 11 when the girls clear their trials.
Yeah.
And Rika and Momo lose their pets to her minions. Her minions show up, kill their pets, and then force feed them to them.
Yeah. Which is fucking
And that shit is fucked. That was wild. Watching this show on release, I was watching it as it aired. That cliffhanger there was fucking insane. And, 12 kind of wraps things up a little bit. It's not a great ending, but then we were promised episode 13, which is what they originally wanted 12 to be.
45-minute special is what they advertise it as.
Yeah, and then we get 13, and it's 25 minutes of recap.
Yeah.
And then 20 minutes of basically nothing to do with what they built up for the last 4 episodes.
And I was sitting there so disappointed. I was like, man.
Okay. My enormous issue with episode 13 is that none of the characters act like they have in the entirety of the show. It's a complete bastardization of all the, like, having Oto, the comment that they make, I changed schools and then I lost contact with my friends. It's like, whoever wrote this is blind, lost their fingers, needs to be like thrown away.
Insanity.
Because that is such horseshit. Her entire arc in the show is that she is willing to fight to the death with literal demons to save her one friend.
Yeah.
And she's just gonna, we just drifted apart. My two best friends that we fought tooth and nail with, we're just drifting apart. Also, Naoto, she disappeared. I'm gonna throw my phone through the balcony because I can't take this call.
I'm just like,
no.
Could not. When she tosses the phone off of the balcony or wherever the fuck she is, I'm like, seriously, like, what?
It's out of character.
What?
It's completely out of character.
Yeah.
Nothing that I almost want to say that shit is like non-canon.
I want to say that shit too.
That sounds like it was taken up by like someone who'd been following it from the start, like a fucking like a nerd who'd been following the shit from the start, and then wrote a possible ending, sent it in through fan mail, and then because they were so fucking crunched for time and budget, they're like, all right, fuck it, we're gonna go with this.
Yeah,
it's such a it makes no sense.
Yeah, I was immensely disappointed by the final. Like, I was just kind of like, I don't know, bro. Like, this is my anime brain, or at least like what I think it should have been. I think what they should have done was obviously continue the plot point about the minions and Frill.
Yeah, like
the fact that off screen Nehru just joins forces with Frill is fucking insanity. Like, the most illogical. And then she's an artificial girl, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm actually like, what? They just throw your shit away.
That plot point is. I don't even hate that plot point of like her being an artificial girl. I think that's awesome. That's because it shows that she's grown, that she's actually overcome Frill in terms of that, which is going to bring me to a whole other point that I'll have here in a little bit. It's just like, she's advanced beyond what the prototype was, which was Frill. Like, she can feel things. You could see that she cares about people because her their white-haired friend whose name I can't remember.
Oh, I can't remember her name either.
Just like, she has that whole moment with that, and it's just having her all of a sudden just join forces it doesn't make any sense. It's a complete lack of acknowledgement of everything else that's happened in this entire series. Like, so from what I know, people hate Frill. People hate the plot point with Frill.
Yes.
And I can kind of understand where they're coming from, but if we want to like tie it back into like how things were, it's just like, okay, well, maybe the reason why only female suicides are on the rise is because that's what she's targeting, is female middle schoolers, just like the daughter that quote unquote replaced her. Right? Yeah. And so that's a plot point. That makes sense. That's why there's this increase. And even people who are just like, maybe they wouldn't go to these like extreme lengths, like the 2 fans in that Rika episode who killed each other because their favorite idol group broke up.
Which is insane.
Or or stuff like characters like that. It's just like never, like, it's a fine plot point. it just never gets resolved. So on that, I genuinely believe it does not need a second season. No. It needs one movie.
I would be so down for a Wonder Egg movie. I think that would actually
literally
be the perfect wrap up.
Yeah, it doesn't need a full season for explanation. It just needs the one movie. It just needs to deal with Frill, needs to deal with the Warriors of Eros thing that they bring up and then never talk about again. Dealing with Thanatos. Like, that whole plot point with Thanatos and Eros is fucking amazing in theory. And the fact that all of the, because I'm a massive nerd, all of the other prototypes have, like, the bug heads, all of them are representative of Thanos' like symbols. Mm-hmm. Like the fourth one would have had a sword on its head, but it never shows up.
Yeah, they don't even show all, and that's what's crazy too, is they don't even show those. Like I literally am so surprised. I remember there being controversy, like I would see on Reddit, obviously not watching along. I was just like, what the fuck are these people talking about? At the beginning of the series, they're like, we love Wonder Egg, and then at the end, everybody's like, what the fuck? And I was like, yeah. Kind of felt that, and I was like, yo, what? I was upset that they fumbled that hard. Like, this was like almost the impossible fumble from my point of view. They're just
want to go into what happened?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, go for
it. All right.
Yeah, let's go.
So what happened was that it was production hell.
Yeah.
So the guy who wrote it, he'd written dramas up until this point. This was his first anime movie, or anime in general.
Project.
Project. They were doing fine, like at first, but all of a sudden they ran into budget issues. They were too ambitious with how well they were animating things and how much that was going to cost. They ran out of budget like halfway through. So let's just say, I don't know what the exact thing is, like around episode 7, let's just say that happened. And now all of a sudden their animators are getting overworked, so some of them are getting sick, getting hospitalized, getting knocked out of the project entirely. Jeez. That happened including to the director. Yeah, the director happened to him twice.
What?
Got knocked out. And this is entirely because of how they do anime nowadays, which is where they do it weekly to weekly instead of just like the whole project at once. Somebody who knows more about that can correct me somewhere, but yeah, that's, to my understanding, that's how this was done. And so they're going through all of that, and then they had episode 8 was originally not supposed to be a recap at all. They had to do that because they ran out of time. And so they threw it together like within like, I want to say hours of airing on TV.
Yeah, it was like same week.
Jeez.
At minimum.
Yeah. So that was not even supposed to be a thing, which is why there was the 13th episode. And by the end of the series, they had to outsource to, I think it was Romanian animators to finish it up, which is part of the reason why we didn't get a sick fight scene at the end, is because they couldn't afford it. They straight up could not afford to do what they probably wanted to do because they got over ambitious with that shit. So
upsetting.
I can understand on the logical reason why the anime ended the way that it did.
Yeah.
God damn it, I wish I had enough power and influence to like fund a movie. Just be like, I can see your vision, man. I can see exactly how you want this to go. I know exactly what you want this anime to be, and it's perfect. It's so good. It's done so well. Yeah. And you ran out of fucking money. Not to mention this happened, I want to say, a year after the KyoAni got burnt down, which is the studio that made this. So there's also on top of that. It was either a year or two after, year and a half.
Just back to back, just tragic.
In a way, it was destined to fail in that sense.
That sucks.
Which really fucking sucks. Because it's like, everywhere I look when I was doing my research into this shit, it's just people being like, fucking Wonder Egg is shit. It's so bad. Avoid this at all costs. It's just like, no. No, it's such an amazing story. Just except for the very end. It's just they trip at the end.
Yeah, and it's like, and if you want to be one of those people where it's like, oh, well, just don't watch, fucking 8 through 12. Fuck that. Just don't watch 13.
Just don't watch 13.
Don't watch 13
and you will be happy.
I mean, you are still going to be a little sad, but I mean, the last like, just to say, the last 2 minutes are like Oto deciding to basically go back on the thing that she was like, I lost contact with my friends. She's like, I'm going to go find my friends. And I'm like, oh, okay. Okay, that's.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the best that
like
they
there's
could
going to be
give
a
me.
second
Yeah.
season.
Yeah, they did.
That's
It's
all
like
that
they-
mattered too from that episode.
And like
that's the only important thing is that she lost hope. She lost contact with her friends, but she has come to the conclusion, I fucked up. I need to take responsibility for my actions of throwing away this phone when my friend really needed me most.
Yeah.
Because if she had answered the phone, it'd probably been like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. Don't do that.
Yeah.
End phone call. That simple.
Yeah.
But yeah, though, so you can just hear if you're still worried about being spoiled and you just got spoiled for all of that, that's episode 13. Don't watch it. Just listen to what we just said. It's not even visually stunning at all. It's just a lot of recap and then all that. Because again, it was outsourced to people to get it done fast because they had run out of money. Not to say that, foreign animators can't make shit as good as the Japanese, but these fuckers were broke at the end.
Also, technically Wonder Egg is a Trigger anime, so because they have I think they did a couple scenes. So if you are a Trigger fan, there you go.
The way how she turns that 4-color pen,
Yeah,
that massive hammer the time is so fucking hype.
Yeah, bro.
The magical girl aspect of
So
that is so
good,
much fun.
Yeah. And that reminded me, you fucking son of a bitch.
What?
I've been telling you to watch Flip Flappers for years. And now watching Wonder Egg. Yes, you!
I don't think Flip Flappers is going to have the depth of Wonder Egg, but Flip Flappers is still good.
The depth. It's different. It's a different social issue that they're talking about. Instead of suicide, it's about coming to terms with your sexuality.
Yeah.
But it's like the visuals and the theming and the senses like that are so close. You've seen Flip Flappers, right, Jordan?
Yeah. It's good.
That shit's a fucking masterpiece.
Yeah, the animation
adore
is
that.
chef's kiss all the way through. All the way through. So good.
I'm retracting Just Time for Torture Princess and putting that shit back on the list.
You want to get
Flip
rid of
Flappers on
It's
the
time
list?
for put Flip Flappers on the list?
You need to watch Flip Flappers.
Okay, I'll put Flip Flappers. Yeah, please.
Sorry, I needed to get that out there. I was just
Okay.
thinking
No, you're fine.
about the stunning colors and shit.
Okay, so if that wraps up our discussion on Promare and Wonder Egg, it is time for me to spin the wheel.
Yeah.
Okay.
TLDR,
Well, hold on.
watch Promare and watch Wonder Egg 1
Yeah.
through 12.
Yeah, if you want to watch the 13th episode, you can. I don't recommend it, but it's just I don't know. Also, you can skip episode 8; it's all recap. But despite it being recap, it does help you contextualize a lot of stuff if you're kind of confused. They actually do a
especially
decent
right before shit goes insane.
Yeah, they actually do a decent job in that of re-explaining okay, in case you're a little bit lost on how some of this shit is because it's kind of all over the place. Just recap with that. So, fellas, what would you rate Wonder Egg as a whole?
Okay.
I'm still giving it a 9 out of 10. I still fucking love Wonder Egg, even in all of its imperfections.
I could go for an 8. I can go for an 8.
I think
Wonder Egg is great. I think it really talks about. I think it does a great job talking about all those themes with tact, which is not in the ordinary, right? Very, very. It's just they did a good job, and I also do think the transgender episode is the best episode in anime that I might have seen. Talk about something like that. I was I don't know. It was good. It was really good.
It's handled so insanely well. Also, little cultural context for that for anyone who doesn't doesn't know Japanese culture or the deep Japanese culture. The fact that the dude manifests as a tengu, which are symbols of sexuality and aggressive sexuality, which is why they got the big nose that's it's supposed to look like a cock.
It's phallic.
Yeah. It's phallic.
Yeah, it's phallic. And so because they have that and that's what that dude manifests as is the fucking monster designs, how they do all of those is so good.
I hated I'll say this, I hated the paint tube titties. I hated that shit.
You hated
that shit
the
was
bitch
awful.
with the udders.
I hated that
titties.
shit. That was so
The
gross.
gymnastics teacher.
Yeah, she was so bad. I was like,
so
this
nasty.
is nasty.
But it's so good.
It
All
is
of
good,
those
though.
designs are so fucking good. The cult leader being a guy with siphons that steals your blood and shit and just sucks all the life out of you is so. Oh
So
my
good.
god!
There's a lot of good
It's
imagery.
a gorgeous show.
Yeah, the
it's a
imagery is
gorgeous
crazy.
show.
It's so good. Like seeing people hate on it so much on like anime sites and like Reddit and shit. It's just so, it breaks my heart having seen it now.
Yeah,
because it's just like you're throwing all of this amazing stuff away because they fucked up the ending because of budget issues.
Blame capitalism, bitches.
Like, yeah,
your art is always ruined by money. Let's be real.
Yeah,
art at the very end of the day, the worst thing about a capitalistic society and trying to make art in it, that's it.
Doesn't sell.
Doesn't it? You need to have the money. It's not their fault, bro. I can see the passion. I saw the vision, and when you told me just now, it's like money and overwork. I was like, yep, that is a hammer nail coffin, dog.
Yeah. It's a victim of how the anime system is and how like the work culture is. I mean, it's just like, and again, it's just like it came out and people loved it. People adored it. It wasn't like a show that was like panned or anything like that. Like, it was just, it wasn't like a low studio, like, you know,
this is KyoAni,
throw
baby.
this out there thing. Yeah, it wasn't just like another generic isekai or anything like that you get every anime season. It was KyoAni making an original product.
Yeah.
Like, that had nothing else behind it, and it was great.
Oh.
But then, you know, it's just a myriad of factors came against it and fucked it up. It's just so sad.
So we gotta.
I've come to find I'm very passionate about this show. Because like I loved Promare. But Promare, I watched it, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
The music stuck with me, the visuals were cool, and then it was done. I sit and I think about Wonder Egg for like the last 2 weeks. I watched all of it in one day.
Damn, bro.
Because I was just so hooked onto it. I was just like, oh my fucking god. Yeah, sorry.
No, it definitely makes you think. I will say, like, every episode, I was just like, what in the fuck, man? Like, this is insane. So I definitely get you. So we got an 8 out of 10. We got a 9 out of 10. Cam, you still sit there with your 9?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're going to give it an 8 on my anime
All right.
list.
We love it. Go watch it.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, genuinely highly recommend it.
All right. Wheel time. On the list, we have Birdie the Mighty, 8686, Serial Experiments Lane, Evangelion, Erased, Achikochi, Somali and the Forest Spirit, The Girl from the Other Side, and Flip Flappers. All right.
Eclectic mix.
Are you ready?
I kind of want to remove Achikochi. Because I might have gone back and just rewatched that on my own time.
Okay.
And I really liked it. I don't think that's something that you guys are going to enjoy.
Okay.
So
you want to replace it with anything?
Oh my!
If you actually want me to do it, I'll be mad at you. But if you want me to actually, like, what am I going to gain from watching Monster Musume nowadays? Huh? Also, we've all seen Monster Musume.
That's true.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, that's true.
That's it.
You know what?
He's like, let's put it on the list. We've all seen it. Fuck. All right.
Look, I ain't gonna fuck with you. I kind of want to go back and rewatch it just because it's been a while. But I'll do that on my own time.
Okay. All right.
Part of me, you know what? I'm gonna put one on there that it's at Monster Musume adjacent.
Okay.
But it's worse.
Oh my god!
It's called Monster Girl Doctor. Put that on there.
Do I have to?
Put it on there for this wheel, and when I find something better next week...
if I have to watch the stupid... If I have to watch this shit, I'm going to be so mad.
Really funny. It's going to be really funny.
Bro, we are not going to come with any content next time. All right, you guys ready?
Are we doing 2 or 1?
Depends on... Since there's no movies in here, I think we need to do 1.
Crunchyroll just asked me, am I ready for the Solo Leveling season finale? I ain't watching that fucking shit. No.
Oh, damn. It was on this list too, and then I was like, let's watch this instead. Okay, you guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
And away we go. Brrr. What do we got? Oh shit. Oh my fucking. Okay. Jesus Christ. I almost just had to come apart because it almost landed on Monster Girl Doctor. Okay, we are watching Birdie the Mighty.
All right.
I have to figure out how you can watch that. I don't know where legally you can watch that right now.
Let me see if it's on Crunchyroll.
For legal purposes, that is a joke also. No, I mean
Did
Decode.
you mean Birdie Wing Golf Girls?
No, Birdie the Mighty Decode, okay? All right, so we're going to watch Birdie the Mighty Decode. It is 26 episodes, I believe. And then we'll come back to you on that. So if you want to watch along with us, by the time we get the next episode out, we'll watch this and we will talk about it. I'm a big Birdie the Mighty Decode fan. I think it's fucking excellent. And I love sci-fi. So this is
you're
one for
excellent.
me. Well, thank you, Cam. What a nice guy.
I know,
Guys.
right? He's crazy.
Everybody
So,
give
actually, Birdie the Mighty,
Cam a
I think
hand.
that... So there's a girl in Nikkei who calls you Birdie, and she looks like one of the characters from Birdie the Mighty,
No way.
which is kind of cool. Just thinking about that. I like Nikkei. Hey, listener, go play Nikkei. Goddess of Victory, Nikkei. I'm
Yeah,
going to
go
show
do that
gacha
if you
games that
want,
they're
I
not
mean.
paying me to do. Hey, Nikkei devs, you want to sponsor this podcast? I'll shill your shit for eternity.
I mean, yeah.
So that's it. That's it for us. And I hope you guys have a great week. Be sure to
Take
share
care,
this.
everybody.
Yeah, share this podcast with your friends if you like us. If you don't like us, please let us know.
If you have opinions on any of these stuff that we have talked about, either Wonder Egg or Promare, please leave a comment on the YouTube video if it's up on YouTube, or can you leave comments on Spotify? I have no idea.
No, you
you can
cannot.
leave reviews, I
You cannot.
believe. Maybe.
Send it to the
I don't think
Gmail.
you can. Make a
Send
Reddit
it-
post on some random subreddit.
Should
and
we
we'll
get a
find it.
subreddit?
No.
No,
honestly.
not
We
yet.
have to. We
I
have
don't
to.
wanna
We have to
track
have. Yeah, I don't.
How many people
I
do you
have, like, a-
need?
I have a personal vendetta against Reddit.
Okay, then we will not make a Reddit. I'm not.
We'll
We
find
can
the,
if we-
we'll find the post.
We'll find a
Don't worry.
place.
Yeah.
All right.
Send them to Gmail. Nostalgia pile.
Yeah. And if they're hateful, I'll read those too, because those are funny.
Yeah. Say
you can
whatever you
tweet.
like.
Tweet at us, call us idiots, and say that our takes are the worst thing you've ever heard.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Explain to me why Promare was actually really bad, because the story was bad. The story was like surface level at best. And then also tell me why Wonder Egg doesn't deserve to be watched at all because the one episode is bad.
Yeah. Please.
Like literally just like the one episode. I'm not.
I mean, literally, there's only
I'm
one bad
so
episode.
angry.
You're right. There's only one
Yeah.
bad episode. All right.
Everything else is 10 out of 10. That last episode is a fucking 2 out of 10.
Yeah. All right. Have a great
All
great
right.
week. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Yep. Catch
See
y'all
ya.
later.
Outro plays. It probably doesn't sound like that. It probably sounds.
It just plays the fucking.